Yeah, I'm actually more hopeful about gun control than I have been in a long time, because the most powerful stakeholder in the American economy is the consumer. It's not the worker. It's not even the shareholder. We're a consumer-driven economy. And it feels like the consumer is getting angry about this. And teens, who are the most important consumer in the world, because we wear their clothes, we take their cues in terms of media, what phone we want, what restaurants are cool, what vacation spots we want to go to.
Yep.
They are the tip of the spear. So I'm more hopeful here. You're going to see more progress, my prediction, on gun control than you're going to see around social media, because consumers don't seem to care that their platforms have been weaponized by bad actors.
Well said.
I told you. And for a retailer to step out and do something that could possibly have a negative impact on their business is big. Joining us now, a dear friend of mine who truly understands brands and business, Scott Galloway, a marketing professor at NYU's Stern School of Business and founder of the business intelligence firm L2. What's your take, Scott?
I think you're right. I think this is a big deal. What you've seen from other companies is they're trying to back away slowly and be Switzerland. So Delta's wording on this,
We don't want to be involved.
was out of respect for people on both sides, we've decided to end the program. They just are hoping this thing will go away. This is an overt political statement saying to the two most important cohorts in business, moms and teens, who control more spending and dictate what's cool around spending, that we're with you. And what might be interesting here is could this be a consumer-led revolution?
That's really interesting.
Because there's been so much inaction.
So this is Dick's audience, because it sells different things at different stores, the Dick's stores and the Field and Stream stores. One of the audiences is aging and aging out, and that is the more conservative firearms buying audience. The kids may be used to buying things online. So are they betting that movement is so big that they're going to attract more than they're going to lose? Because Dick's is certainly, this is going to cost them in some way.
Yeah. So this seems, first off, it seems genuine. You get the sense this guy really, the wording he used, that I was disturbed. It also seems, as I would argue, it's good for shareholder value, because the cohort that is probably going to have the most negative reaction to this is probably middle class, red state, and probably doesn't have the same disposable income as some of the people who are very upset about this, specifically suburban moms who buy 4 or 5 cars, who spend a lot of money buying the soccer gear for their kids.
And they can buy it at a lot of places.
There's a lot of competition here. And then the 19-year-old male or female, the kid, one thing you know about these kids that stood up at that town hall, they're going to influence a lot of spending. These kids are so smart, so aggressive. You know they're going to go to college. You know they're going to do well. You know they're going to be thought leaders. So this feels like it's not only the right thing to do, it feels like it's the smart thing to do. They might take a hit in the short run, but this feels like it's not only good, but good business.
What do you think about the fact that, look, Walmart has got similar things in place, Cabela's and it's the other one, the Cabela's, the one that Bass Pro, so the big competitors are almost all out of the business now, or will be out of the business of high-capacity magazines, of assault rifles, of selling to people under the age of 21. But there are a billion mom and pops around the country that do this stuff. So from a business perspective, what does it mean that the big players are out, but no one's going to be unable to buy a gun?
It's primarily optics. At this point, it's not going to really, I don't think it's going to have a ton of impact on your ability to get a gun. I mean, just if you keep your eyes peeled in any middle income area, you're typically going to see gun shops. And I don't see those going away. To a certain extent,
they might even do better as a result of this.
It might be a boon for some of the smaller, long-tail gun shops.
Given how polarized we are right now, we hear movements to boycott this, boycott that all the time. How tricky is it to be a CEO? I think back to when there were the riots in Charlottesville. And if I'm a CEO of a brand and I see somebody, attacking someone else and they're wearing a Nike shirt, they're wearing a Gap t-shirt, is that not tricky? I mean, you can't help if bad guys wear your stuff.
It's very difficult to remain apolitical and not have a viewpoint and have additional meetings and additional headaches around some of the political issues taking place. Almost every retailer is touched. At the same time, I would argue that difficulty has been matched by compensation, which is now 400 times what the average worker makes. So, it sucks to be wealthy. These are good problems to have to deal with this. It means most likely you're making a very good living if you have to deal with these issues.
Do the boycotts actually happen? When we see I know that boycott Uber actually impacted Uber. That one, the night the travel ban was announced.
Right.
But in general, we hear about these boycott all the time. Does it really happen?
This is going to sound cynical, but I think most of the data shows that there's some dissonance between what consumers say and how they actually behave.
Ding,
so
ding,
consumers will talk a big game about ethical supply chain, but they still want that little black dress for $19.99. Corporate social responsibility tends to be a tiebreaker, but at the end of the day, people want their Nespresso pods within 48 hours for free.
So I said this to my wife, Lori. I said, I think until Amazon stops screening NRA TV, maybe I don't want to have it. And she said, well, what will you do? And I said, I'll buy things from other people. And she'll says who? And I said, well, Walmart's making a big push online. She goes, Walmart sells more guns than anyone does. So you're mad at Amazon for streaming NRA TV, but Walmart actually sells the guns. So when I started to think about the associations that all of us have with guns in America, taking a position to boycott a fair one, in which you're boycotting everybody who's profiting off of guns, would be actually quite hard for the average American to do.
Well, going a bit off script here, our nation's democracy has technically been weaponized by a Russian intelligence group, and we know what happened on Facebook and Instagram.
But we don't give it up.
Have you guys? Have you guys? Taken Facebook or Instagram off your phones?
No. This is a very good point. That the boycott concept is difficult. So for Dick's, it's actually, and I don't want to say it's easy because I think it's been a tough decision for them, but it is one thing they can do. For the rest of us to take a position like that is a lot of things we'd have to do.
It's just people talk a big game. The revolution is typically not consumer-led. It might have to be this time because consumers are getting so fed up, hoping that something's going to come out of D.C., and it's a lot of slow ball, and they finally decided, okay, I'm inspired by these 18 or 19-year-olds. I mean, think about the 60s, right? Think about the movements that were inspired by 18 or 19-year-olds that were too stupid to know they were going to fail.
Right.
That were too stupid to think we can't change the world. In this instance, it's not only kind of a political and a social moment, it might be an economic moment. Because with social media and the ability to say, I'm a very important consumer, and I'm going to start, I don't know about you guys, but when I saw Delta said we're not going to go with the NRA, I actually felt good about Delta, right? My politics are beginning to get linked to my consumer purchases.
Yes.
So just as news went 24 hours, sports went 24 hours, politics have now gone 24 hours, and we are going to begin linking purchases. You said you bought Philadelphia Eagles wear at Dick's. You're going to start buying products based on the political viewpoint of the company, which it can no longer stay neutral on.
Isn't that a risky position for companies to take, or are they making a smart move to triangulate government? If you've got teenagers and CEOs taking real action, does it not make, Congress, who's sitting there going thoughts and prayers, kind of look like chumps?
Well, yeah, but that's been going on for a while, right? I mean, that's...
Not to this level.
But what is Congress's, what is their approval rating right now? I'm not sure how much worse it can get.
Dick's needs to gain customers more than Congress.
And again, there's more dissonance. What we really hope is those young, inspiring kids around the world who are doing marches actually do something that as a cohort they have not been doing, and that is voting. Voting is not great among young people, so they make fun of us for giving, or Washington for giving their thoughts and prayers. Well, I hope you guys show up. I hope every 18 to 25-year-old, which has typically been the lowest voter turnout, shows up and votes.
Are you concerned that there's all this enthusiasm, but you're not going to have results? We keep talking about, people are going, I'm so excited that these teenagers have more Instagram followers than the NRA. Instagram followers are meaningless. Votes matter.
Yeah, I'm actually more hopeful about gun control than I have been in a long time, because the most powerful stakeholder in the American economy is the consumer. It's not the worker. It's not even the shareholder. We're a consumer-driven economy. And it feels like the consumer is getting angry about this. And teens, who are the most important consumer in the world, because we wear their clothes, we take their cues in terms of media, what phone we want, what restaurants are cool, what vacation spots we want to go to. They are the tip of the spear. So I'm more hopeful here. You're going to see more progress, my prediction, on gun control than you're going to see around social media, because consumers don't seem to care that their platforms have been weaponized by bad actors.
Well said.
I told you you'd like Scott.
No, I love Scott. That was great. What a
I might
great
not
and
be a
important...
teen, but you know what? Take your cues from me. It's a good idea.
It's a really important discussion. We'll have it more. Thanks, Scott.
Thank you.
Scott, thank you so much.
Scott Galloway is a marketing professor at NYU School Stern of Business.